Hey there! Today we're going to do a Lazy Susan pour, an acrylic pour on a piece of wood that's 19 inches around and an inch thick. And I wanted to show you what I'm going to do to mix up the paint. The first thing you do is you pour your colors into your cups. I have Deco Art Premium Dioxazine Purple, which is a dark, rich purple. And actually I'm going to put just a little bit more in there. But so you'll put the colors that you're choosing into your cups. So that's the dark purple. This is just Craft Smart, a cheap brand. It's called Nickel, so it's kind of like a silver color. That's in this cup here. So I'll put just a little bit more in there. Deco Art Americana Lavender is in this cup right here. And I have enough of that already in there. And then I'm going to use white and black. I've got white in this cup here, black in a bottle. I also have extra white in the bottle in case I need it. And the white is Artist Loft Flow Acrylic. It comes in a quart and I buy it usually at Michael's. Here's the black Artist Loft Flow Acrylic. These are more fluid than the bottle acrylics, just a little bit more fluid and in larger quantities because you always use a lot of white and black. So I'm using those. The medium that I'm going to mix in with my paints is Floetrol by Flood, but it's called Floetrol. It's latex based. This means that it goes with anything paint-wise that is water-based. Do not get the Floetrol that is oil-based. Everything we do is with a water-based paint. This is in a gallon. I got it at Home Depot. You can Lowe's, hardware stores. You can order it online if you need to. So here's that. So what I do, I've already got the black and white mixed. Is a 50-50 ratio, so it's 1-to-1. So however much paint, then you use the same amount of Floetrol. So I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to pour in the same amount of paint, or a ratio that there is paint in my cup. Okay? So the first thing you do, I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on. I also have craft paper on the table. It is not banner paper. It is a special craft paper. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It has a shiny side that's slick. You can wipe it off multiple times. It also, if you have your paint that dries on here and it makes a really pretty skin, you can peel it off and use it to make jewelry and things with. Here's a piece of the paper. I don't know if you can see in the light that it's shiny. So it has a plastic coating. On the back side, it is just like regular paper. So I always put the shiny side up on the table, and that makes a wonderful surface to wipe off, or to, like I said, have the acrylic skins after they dry, whatever drips off of your canvas or your board or whatever you're painting, whatever surface you're painting on. So we're going to mix the paints, and the Floetrol will lighten the color slightly in your cup, but when it dries, it'll dry to the normal color that it already was. And you make sure and go around all the sides and get all the extra paint or Floetrol that is on the sides of the cup, and you mix that in as well. And I'm going to fast forward through the mixing process so that you don't have to watch all this. When you mix your color up, after you always mix the medium into the acrylic paint. You want the medium to bind with your paint. So what I've done is we've poured the Floetrol into the paint and mixed it in first before you ever add any water. I've got some water here. So your medium and acrylic paint is mixed together, and you want it to pour off your stick very like warm honey, very smooth and like a steady stream. So this is a little thick. So I'm going to add some water. Make sure to get around all the sides of your cup inside. Scrape down the sides. Make sure you get it all mixed in. It's still a little bit thick. So you do it just a little bit of water at a time. You don't pour a lot. You don't have much water in this ratio of paint and Floetrol. You're just adding it in order to make a more fluid paint. I like it a little bit wet as opposed to a thicker paint, because the thicker paint does not move as freely on your surface. I'm going to put down 4 small cups. These are bathroom cups, the little ones, and I keep a lot of those around. Put the Lazy Susan down. You get it spaced out to where your support makes everything nice and level on the surface. So I've got some white, black, dioxazine purple. It came out of the tube, and it was a little thicker than the craft paints that were in the bottle. So I have a little bit more of that than I do the others. Here's treadmill lubricant. It's 100% silicone. I ordered it online. It would be like WD-40, that spray kind of stuff. I use the drops. It's just easier to control. So I'm adding several drops, 3 or 4 drops into my dark purple. Into the lavender. And into the silver. I do not put it in the white or black. It only goes in the colors. Okay, are you ready for some fun? This actually is very beautiful, and I'm doing it for a client. It's a commission, and she wants it a little deeper in the purple tones. So I'm going to see if I can go darker with the purple and have fun all over again. I'm excited. So let's get started. I'm going to start just a little bit of white, a little bit of black, some silver, lots of dark purple, a little bit of lavender, Back to the black. A lot of dark purple again. I like, when I want bigger cells, I like to put a surface of, light surface of the paint. One other thing is I use a heat gun instead of a heat torch. I like not having to fool with the torch and butane and all that, lighter fluid, whatever is in it. So I just use the heat gun. It is only like, I think it's 1500 watts, and it's not super hot. It doesn't set things on fire or anything like that. So that's what I use. I've just got a spatula from my kitchen. And I'm just spreading a light layer okay. The sides are painted from the last time that I did the pour, but the edges were still a little rough because this was a new piece of wood. So I sanded it again and put another coat of just purple paint on the sides. And then when I pour, we're going to do the dirty pour, it'll go over the edges, and the beautiful cells will follow the pattern over the edges. They'll be very beautiful. Okay. Adding just a little bit more white. Purple. Silver. Lavender. And I've got a good amount of paint left, so I think this is enough. I can always pour more if I need it. So let's have some fun and see what happens. The silicone is what makes the big cells, which are beautiful. I love cells. Some people like them, some don't. I love them. I'm going to heat it. Not much, just a little bit. I have too much white in there, I can tell already. So I can tell you already that I'm going to add some more paint to this. So back to the cup. A little bit of silver. A little bit of lavender. Black. And the dark purple. Well, there, the silver came out again. Okay, see, I'm not even putting my tray down. I'm just letting it fall on the paper. Just making sure that there's paint on the sides. Black, lavender, purple, the point of this is to have fun. This is so much fun, just to see what happens and what you can create. There was a big clump of something there. Isn't that beautiful? It's messy. It's harder to control a round piece of wood for some reason than it is a canvas. Just wanted to add a little interest in some of these areas that don't have a lot of stuff going on. It's a butter knife. Now, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Some of the silver's showing. So the black even has a little sparkle or shimmer that's mixed in with the silver, which is great. Make sure all your edges are covered with paint. And there you have a beautiful piece of art. On this project, when it's completely dry, and that takes several days, you let it sit for multiple days until it's dried and cured. In 24 hours or so, you might think it's dry and you touch it and you're going to mess it up. So you have to give it at least 48 hours to dry in decent warm conditions in your home. If you're working in a basement or a garage or somewhere like that where it's cooler, it will take longer to dry. So keep that into consideration, that this is a lot of paint. Acrylics dry very quickly, but it's a lot of paint on a surface in one area, and it's got water in it and Floetrol, so that makes it a lot wetter and it'll stay wet for a longer period of time. On this project, and usually on a lot of my other canvases that I do this, once it's dry, completely dry, I use Minwax water-based polyacrylic clear gloss. This is a quart. You get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware stores, Walmart. It's maybe $16, $17 for a quart, but it goes a long way. You can do many, many, many projects with it. It will last you a very long time. And I like the sheen. It's glossy, and it dries pretty quickly, and I do usually 4 or 5 coats on something like this that's going to be used and things are going to be put on it and wiped on. You want to put at least 4 to 5 coats. Now on a piece of canvas, an artwork or a board or something that you're doing for art, you don't have to put that many coats. And I just want to stress it's water-based polyacrylic. Minwax makes the oil-based brand too, and it doesn't say polyacrylic, it'll call it something else, and it's oil-based. You don't want that at all. This is water-based. You can clean up with water and soap. Clear gloss is the shiniest finish that comes in this brand. A sponge brush is your best friend. It's easy to use. When you're waiting for it to dry, you put it in a Ziploc bag and keep it in a Ziploc bag, and you can use it over and over again to do your coats, but don't let it sit out or it will harden and dry very quickly. Like here's one in my Ziploc bag now, and I write on it what it is so I know what it is. But anyway, sponge brushes, you can get them anywhere. This will be my final coat on this project. It will change a little bit as it dries, and I will post a picture at the end of my video of what the finished product looks like. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, thumbs up. Just wanted to show you a close-up some cool cells. I was going to see if you can see the sparkle in the silver and black. Right there you can see the sparkle in it. Isn't that beautiful?